Welcome, I'm Lizzie Brooks, and today's class is a Chaturanga Dandasana tutorial. So Chaturanga can be done in a myriad of ways. I'm going to show kind of that classic way where we lower and roughly 90 degrees with the elbows. That can change, so that's just know that there's not a one size fits all. But we want to make sure that we keep ourselves safe and that we're getting stronger rather than kind of flopping down, sagging the belly, compromising the low back. There's a lot of things. We take these flow and vinyasa classes and they're like, okay, now take a vinyasa and do your chaturanga. And oftentimes they're done over and over in a class. You have to be really strong to do this posture. So I don't think it should be something that's done over and over unless you're really seasoned. It would be better, in my opinion, to do one really good one, one really informed and strong one during the class and then skip the rest, or do three, or kind of sometimes do it, then take a break, then do it, then take a break. You don't have to do every one. So with all that being said, I'm going to use a couple of props today to show you some ways that you can practice on your own that will really help you. And I do recommend, if you are really into getting this down, that you from the side video yourself. So a video or a picture, they are actually worth 1,000 words. In my private classes when I'm one-on-one, actually in person, which I haven't done for a while, I do them on Zoom, but I video the person and they're like, whoa, like my mind's blown. I didn't know I was doing that. So here we go. I'm going to show you something with a block, and I'm going to show you something with a bolster. You can do, and you might have heard of knees, chest, chin. So in a vinyasa or flow class, you might be in a down dog, and someone says, okay, you can take your vinyasa, you can go to chaturanga, maybe knees, chest, chin. So a lot of times people do knees, chest, chin. And what happens, ooh, I'm on my microphone, sorry. What happens, look at my belly. Look how much my low back is swayed. So and that's fine, it's fine to have your back swayed. But if I'm doing knees, chest, chin, and I think eventually I'm going to do a chaturanga, my knees, chest, chin isn't really building the structural awareness and strength to eventually go there. So if you never want to do a chaturanga, you probably wouldn't be watching this video, but if you never want to do one, you never have to. Who cares? But if you do want to do one and you're choosing knees, chest, chin variation, you're not building up the strength. So instead of knees, chest, chin, and instead of doing full chaturanga, what I recommend is doing baby chaturangas, which is a tiny little bend with all the other things turned on that are needed for full chaturanga. So I'll show you what I mean. So from the top of the pubic bone to the low ribs to the sternum, draw a little diamond shape on yourself, okay? This is not, don't take out the marker, but just pretend it's there, okay? Now inhale fully, sigh out, inhale again, and draw that whole diamond shape towards the spine. Inhale, let it go, and sigh out. So did you feel how much support that was? We want to use that in our entry to chaturanga and while we're in it. Not just pulling back the belly button, that's a different sensation, and it's not garnering as much support as pulling that diamond shape back. So we can keep the legs fired up, we can draw the diamond shape back, and we can work the upper body without going into the full chaturanga, but training to get there. So from your plank, you're going to draw that diamond shape back. Imagine you're not sagging, you're not overlifting, but you're tucking the tailbone a little bit to get even the low belly involved. You've got that diamond shape. Then at the ankles, you do a little bit of a movement here. There's a little move forward, which helps get the shoulders more forward. You're not bobbing up and down, you're just moving forward. Then elbows draw straight back, do a baby push-up, and then you can come up into an upward dog, putting your knees down first, then lifting them, then lowering the knees, and going back to child's or downward facing dog. So full chaturanga would be the same thing. Organs draw back, diamond shape active, legs active, ankles move forward, but you would lower further down, more like this. So what I'm asking is we come to the plank, rock forward, baby bend, upward dog, maybe putting the knees down or not, to downward facing dog or child's pose. The only thing that changes is the degree of the bend. So over time, you might start with 1 inch, then it's 2, then it's 3, then it's 4, and then maybe you're working into that kind of full chaturanga position. Oftentimes, people think they're in a super deep chaturanga by doing something like this. Okay, this is not chaturanga. This is actually easier than being within a straight line to gravity. Being in that more butt up shape is actually a little bit easier, and it puts more stress on the joint rather than working into the muscles. So I always tell my students, imagine that you have headlights right here on the top of the shoulders, not the front of the shoulders, but the top, kind of that bony prominence, and you want to shoot those straight forward. Yes, there will be a slight turn, a very slight turn in. That's okay. For the most part, we just don't want to really drop them to the floor. So same thing. Elbows don't go to the sides. You want the upper inner arm to kind of hug in alongside. Plank, diamond shape of support, heels rock forward. You choose the degree of your bend, you're not dropping the shoulders, and then you just go straight into the back bend. Of course, you can do chaturanga all the way to the floor, shoulders back, and take a cobra instead of doing upward dog. It really depends on which back bend you're needing more in that moment. So chaturanga can lead to either one. Now, for testing and playing with it, I'm going to show you first, some people are in one of two camps. Either they do the chaturanga like this that I've shown, or they do the chaturanga kind of like this, where the low back is collapsed, the legs aren't really fired up, and the belly is definitely slack. For that diamond shape visual really helps. But also putting something in the way. It's like, this is hot lava and you don't want your belly to touch it. If you work with a prop, heels rock forward, don't want to touch my belly to the block, don't want to touch my belly to the block, don't want to touch my belly. Okay, now I can come down because the chest and the belly were coming down roughly, on that same line rather than belly dropping then shoulders. So you can always put something in the way that just helps you remember to lift there and to lower not one versus the other. That is also, this is a great thing to use if you have a bolster, a pillow like this, or you can fold up blankets and get them a little higher. But this allows you to not have to come all the way to the ground and then push back up. And it just makes it feel a little bit more easy. So you can come from your downward dog and practice going into heels rock forward, chaturanga onto your prop. This is the other thing. You can start just right here, laying on your prop. Notice my neck and chin are not on it. I can scoot back as much as I want as long as my neck and chin aren't on it. And then I just work my alignment. I find the shoulder blades on the back. I tuck my toes, I fire up my legs, even my inner thighs. Then I draw the diamond shape away from the bolster, and I'm working hard here. Okay, so this is my getting some cellular memory and some alignment cues down. And then once I feel that's there, I might try to lift off 1/2 inch all the way maybe to downward dog or to child's pose. So having some props, oh my gosh, that was covered in a lot of fuzz. But anyhow, having some props can be helpful to prep. So you can probably see I'm rapid firing a lot of information at once, so this might be something that you watch again. But understand that building up the strength, yes, it's core strength, yes, it's leg strength, but for a lot of us, especially women, the upper body strength part is the toughest piece. So while I love yoga and I think it can stand on its own if you're not looking to build more upper body strength, I highly recommend doing some of my weights videos and at least throwing weights into your movement practice, maybe once or twice a week, just so that we are building muscle and at least maintaining what we have, depending on the amount of weight that you're using in your weights videos. But that will make Chaturanga an easier posture just by having a little bit more muscle mass to support holding your whole body like that. And I really appreciate that you showed up for this. Please leave your questions in the comments because I would love to clarify anything that wasn't clear. And if you have anything in particular that you're working on, let me know. So thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a wonderful day. Namaste.